afternoon. I invited Doug Elliott and Sarah Faulkner to update us on PACE. That's an acronym for People, Achieving, Community Enhancement. Sarah's been active in PACE for about 10 years, and Doug is the current president. He is a North Carolina board certified attorney specializing in residential real estate. And we're also excited to have Paxton Taylor, the current vice president of PACE, join us. And I understand, and I have witnessed that she's very enthusiastic and a very positive member of PACE. Paxton is a graphic designer and owner of PAX Studio here in Thomasville. Thank you for agreeing to update us on amazing things that PACE has done in the past and that you're doing currently. So I turn it over to you all.
Thank you so much for having us here today, and it's certainly good after a year of sort of having strange meetings and sort of almost meetings and everything to see such a nice big group. I know with our group, we started back when the weather got good. We have our regular meetings outside at the farmer's market. We're doing it basically because of the pandemic, but now we like it so much that that's pretty much how we have our meetings now. We don't bring a folding chair and sit out there and really enjoy it. But I don't know how familiar everybody is with PACE. And it's interesting, as I was preparing a few remarks today, I just went back and looked to some of our foundational documents when PACE was formed. And it was like a little light bulb going off. I saw we actually incorporated in October of 1996. So this is actually our 25th anniversary, and we have something to celebrate now. So I thank you for that too. You made me look at my dates and figure that out. But it's a special anniversary for us. And the way PACE got started is back in the early 90s. There was a group of concerned citizens who wanted to do something about downtown Thomasville, some of the needs in downtown Thomasville, some of the needed improvements that were desired at that time. And they sought the help of a group called the Urban Design Assistance Team, everybody around here calls it UDAP, who came out with a report and specific recommendations, things that needed to be done downtown long-term, very long-term. And one of the things that they wanted was the formation of a nonprofit group that would lead these efforts, and that ended up being PACE, which is we are a nonprofit corporation. The acronym is People, Achieving, Community Enhancement, although we've sort of recently rebranded a little bit, and we are PACE Downtown Thomasville, so that people know a little more what we're about, that we are about downtown. We are an entirely volunteer organization. We have a 15-member board, and we are organized around committees. You may remember in 2019, before the pandemic, Michael Grant was instrumental in bringing together a group of people, different meetings called the Downtown Strong Initiative. It sought the help of some experts. This is sort of an extension, I guess, of UDAP, things that needed to be done downtown. We had a group of graduate college students who made it a project to come up with different recommendations for things that we needed to do. And out of that, we have developed 3 primary committees. And like a lot of things, we had just tons of momentum, ready to go, and then something happened spring of last year that sort of slowed things down. But we've really picked up momentum again now. And our 3 committees are the Design Committee, and Paxton is the chairman of that committee. Promotions, Corey Tobin leads that. And then Economic Vitality, Martha Lawson from the community college leads that. Just to let you know, we meet the 4th Wednesday of every month, right now at the farmer's market, 8 a.m. in the morning. If you're ever up on a Wednesday morning late in the month and you're looking for something to do, we love to have visitors. You don't have to call ahead or anything. We love to get people involved. any of those committees are there waiting for more involvement. We don't have any limitations on membership or anything as far as that goes, so we'd love to have people involved with those committees. Let me tell you a little bit about how we are funded and what we have done since our inception. So, we are very fortunate to have the support of the city of Thomasville. We are one of the nonprofits that they include in their biannual budget, or they have since our beginning. So that's been helpful. You know, even in times when other fundraising's been a little difficult, that has definitely kept us going. But we have other sources of funding too. At times, significant sources of funding through local foundations. We've had some good targeted grants for some of the building renovations that we've done. And then, of course, our own fundraisers that we have engaged in as well. PACE was the organization that constructed the farmers market, PACE Park, including the amphitheater. We've done significant streetscape improvements, downtown street lamps, the downtown waste receptacles, the green metal trash cans that you see, and purchase and renovation of some buildings that needed some tender loving care. So that's our big project, and when Paxton comes up here in a minute, she'll tell you our latest with that. Another big initiative that we've had throughout the years has been facade grants. And in 2019, we decided to really up our game on that quite a bit. We had the money that we felt could really help some downtown businesses. So we offered a matching facade grant up to 60% of any improvements up to $12,000, which meant if somebody spent $12,000 or more improving their facades, windows, anything on the front of the buildings, they could get as much as $7,200 for us. And that initiative really continued on into 2020, and by the time we were done with it, we had given over $50,000 in grant money. And you can see the tangible results of that in downtown Thomasville now. If you drive by some buildings on Main Street, Salem Street, some of the other streets downtown, and you say, oh, it looks like they've done some work and really improved things, there's a good chance that some of that money came from our grants. And that is a continued program. We right now are into a significant renovation of the Palace Theater that Paxton's going to tell you about. And so once that building is sold and we are once more liquid than we are right now, I feel like we can make another big push and initiative on facade grants. One of our fundraisers that I really want to tell you about is our shrimp wall. Last year was the first annual shrimp wall. Just show of hands, did anybody attend our shrimp wall and get the shrimp? Did you think it was really good? Okay, all the thumbs are up. Good. So we thought it was really good too. We had done a farm-to-table dinner for several years at different locations where we had a silent auction and a lot of work and went into that. We were looking for something a little different, a little more accessible to people, and this is what we did. And of course, with last year, with the restrictions, it was a drive-through event. We were boiling the shrimp and sausage and add potatoes, and people would come through and got a take-home box. So it was very well received. This year, put on your calendars, it's October 9th is the shrimp wall. Depending on the nature of any restrictions that could be in place in October 9th, there'll definitely be a drive-through option. It might be all drive-through, but we're hoping to open up Pace Park and the amphitheater and have a place if people want to sit down and eat, and maybe even some entertainment down there. So you'll be seeing over the next month or two opportunities to purchase tickets to that. You'll also see some sponsorship opportunities too. So if you have a business and you are even a little bit interested in being a sponsor, we would love to talk to you about that. So our latest initiative, and where we were really glad to get to, is the point where we have actually purchased buildings downtown and renovated. Our first, and when I say purchased, our first foray into this was with donated buildings, which was really nice. But if you've ever been in a building and you look up and you see sky, that's probably not the best thing. So these were very dilapidated buildings, and that was 9 Salem Street and 6 Main Street. So those buildings have new roofs on them. They were purchased, some of you may know the story, they were purchased by the local operator of the Domino's franchise, who planned to move Domino's downtown. And Domino's had a big push nationwide that they wanted to take their stores, which were very much pickup and delivery oriented, and create nice places to sit. And I think in big part, again, because of the pandemic, people rethought the whole idea of what kind of restaurants were. So Domino's did not go downtown. Those buildings were still owned by essentially the same group, but we're waiting to see, hopefully something exciting will happen with those buildings. And our latest is the Palace Theater. I'm going to leave all the good stuff for Paxton to talk about on that. But, you know, in thinking about the purpose of a nonprofit and what we can do downtown, what we have done with those buildings and what we're currently doing would not be done if there were not a nonprofit to do it. Simply put, if you looked at it as a business opportunity, you wouldn't look at it long, because we are not ashamed to say at all that when we do these, we raise money, fix the buildings up and then over, we lose money on it. That's just the way it is. But yet, Thomasville has some buildings downtown, some with real historical significance, that are not going to be lost. So we're really proud of that fact. And especially with our current project, just really proud of that fact. And if not for PACE, who is going to do that? So as we move into our next 25 years, we want to engage even more with the community. If anybody has any questions, we'd love to hear from you, and certainly if anybody wants to attend any of our meetings and find out more about us, we'd love for you to be part of it. Sarah Faulkner is going to speak on a little bit about the farmers market, and Paxton's going to speak about the Palace Theater. Probably best maybe if you have any questions, let's just hold them until we've all spoken, and then you can address it to the right person. All right, you want to go next, Paxton? And handouts, did we do those?
Yes, did everybody get one? Or at least everybody can share one?
Okay.
All right.
And I'm going to let Paxton speak. Those handouts, as she's speaking, you may want to look through. That goes through the progression of what we're looking at with the Palace Theater.
Hi guys. Okay, so the handout that you were given, of course this is what the Palace Theater used to look like back in 1920. Unfortunately, it was covered up almost about 60 years ago.
I saw Dave Williams' car out there. That's not
So of course this is what it looked like when we first bought it. It was covered in a metal facade. And then when we took the metal facade down, we were kind of hoping maybe there would be some type of architectural features left over, but obviously on the next page that was not the case. But I wasn't going to go out, do this without a fight. I really wanted to make sure that we did something to honor what it used to look like. So we put our heads together and we worked on this throughout COVID, tried to come up with ideas, tried to, that was budget friendly, that wasn't going to be crazy, because of course we are a nonprofit, of course we have to raise our money, and we want to do this, correctly. We finally came up with a solution to do styrofoam installations. So everything that you have now see on the building now was built out of styrofoam and then covered up with stucco. So it gives the whole element of, a 3D design that really showcases it and takes away, from the flat facade that was there. But right now, so we are planning to do, we are painting faux windows back into the domes to kind of showcase what it used to look like. We're on window number 3 right now. And then we're gonna go through and do some 3D like painted ornaments onto the building. Our artist Jeff Beck, who's a local Thomasville native, is helping us out with this project. So really, it's gonna take about a month to finish up, but it's really taking shape. And we're really excited to see the side of Salem Street, brighten up, so.
Heard some great things about Pace, and it's a joy to work with these folks. And I've been a member, I think, for probably on the board for about, 10 or 11 years. And so I've enjoyed my time here because I really do. I love Thomasville and have lived here for like 54 years. So just want to be a part of making things happen and doing anything we can for our downtown. And I've sort of, I guess being who I am and sort of what I'm interested in, I sort of really took a really loving to our farmers market. And if you don't know anything about it, it's please go. It is just really burst with activity this season. And so I wanted to tell you just a little bit about it. Doug told you that it was the inception of Pace. It's at a great location at the corner of Commerce and East Guilford, and it's under the water tower, and it's right there at Pace Park, so that activities can all join each other and create a really nice space. It's open on Saturdays from 8 to 12 noon, and on Tuesdays from 8 to 12 noon too. And it's really limited to growers who live in Davidson County or the surrounding counties of Davie. I didn't realize how many counties surrounded Davidson, but Davie, Forsyth, Guilford, Randolph, Rowan, and Montgomery. All of the farms that produce are certified by the county extension agent once every 3 years, or if they change their produce that they're growing, it has to be certified every year. The market manager, we do have a manager, and the extension agent, the county extension agent can inspect these farms of any market member to verify that the crop is really growing there. So you can be sure that it is local. At the Thomasville Farmers Market, you'll find seasonal fresh vegetables. Tomatoes are in, fruits, and they are bringing some peaches up from Johnson's Orchards. Cut flowers, beautiful cut flowers that you probably have seen in people's homes, and I buy some every Saturday. They're really just lovely. Plants, pasture-raised meat and eggs, and now they've added some handcraft products. Church bake sales are held every Saturday, and our church, Memorial Methodist, had a bake sale this past Saturday. We did quite well. Debbie Dawson, some of you may know Debbie, she was a former principal at Friendship Elementary. So I've known Debbie for a long time. She's the market manager and has just done an exceptional job. And it's grown by leaps and bounds this year. And so you can follow on social media that Grace Conroy sort of is the person, she's our guru of all social media for the farmers market. There's a board of directors that meets periodically to review the bylaws and discuss other concerns. Stacy and Les Centers serve as the co-presidents this year. Some things that have taken place at the farmers market that you might not really think would happen would be they've had local chef demonstrations, they've had master gardener demonstrations, and they've also had raffles. And I said I wanted my part to be short but sweet, so I brought something that I've made that was actually run at the farmers market. So I'm asking for who has a birthday that's closest to the day that, or maybe they had a birthday, it's been the most recent to today. So who would that be who's had a birthday in the last couple of days?
Steve Arthur had one on the 19th, and Tony McCullough has one on 7/22.
So I guess it would be Steve. Steve, you have a loaf of zucchini bread with the zucchini made from the farmer's market. So congratulations. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
First thing I've ever wanted to
Work
know.
pace.
30 years.
Congratulations.
We have our chili cook-off there too.
Yes, yeah. Actually, the farmer's market itself, the space there, I think Thomasville Parks and Rec has some, they do some of the bookings there, and so the chili cook-off is held there in October every year, so you'll see other things that go on. It's a wonderful space. So I hope everybody will be there this Saturday.
Are there any questions about pace for any of us?
I know you want to sell that, the old Palestinian, it's now divided into 3 spaces. Is that the future for the 3, or did you open it up into 1 space inside?
I mean, if we get a buyer who's interested to, because it's gonna take a lot of architectural engineering to get the building back into 1 open space due to when they took down the balcony that used to be once there, it held up the walls, the exterior walls. So there are rods connecting. So unless we somehow construct a second level or a more sound second level, it'll probably stay 3, but we're hoping, of course, our buyer would want to see that space be, a whole.
I believe Milton's office was there at one time, wasn't it?
And so, yeah, we're hoping, we're waiting to see what sort of a buyer we would get. There's been a hope that maybe something like a group up would go in there, and of course they would open it up.
Yes.
But if it stayed offices, it probably would remain sectioned off the way it is. Any other questions? Again, please write down that October 9th shrimp boil. Come and get shrimp that night. It was really, really good. It was a lot of fun. I think it'll even be better this year.
Doug, how can you get tickets for that?
We'll be selling them very soon.
Yeah.
It'll be on, we'll sell them online and in person, so, one of us will have them.
Yeah, we'll be making a big push over in the next month, the next few weeks. And we do have a pretty good social media presence with Facebook and website and everything. If you look it up, you'll be able to find